Why do scriptures speak against suicide, and why are so many of our brothers opting to directly and indirectly commit suicide?
Okay. Well, I'll just quote it, paraphrase. When you read Deuteronomy 28, verse 28, one of the curses of God is that we would be smitten with madness, which means psychological problems. Why? It wouldn't happen. It wouldn't go boop. We were brought up under a system. This American white man, European white man, we were brought up under their teachings, their guidance of what beauty is. That's number one. We believe the standard for beauty is the white man and white woman. That's the standard. And many of our sons and daughters grow up with many psychological hang. Many dark-skinned brothers say, I don't want no blackie girlfriend. She too black. The girls do the same thing. I don't hear you too dark. You black. Your hair's nappy. But when you read the Bible, it says Christ and God had hair like pure wool. That's that thick, coarse hair. We haven't been taught that in church, in Sunday school. We're not taught that. So we grow up with psychological imbalance. Not only that, many of us grew up like in the South. We saw lynchings and things like that. There was no therapy for us growing up.
Real quick, how was your experience in the South? Was it very, how would I say, traumatic?
No, my experience in the South, we were sheltered because my family had their own house out in the woods, way back. There was no concrete nowhere. So we saw very few white people. And my uncle had a horse farm where he had so much land, people would pay him to tend their horses. So that was his job. So, but my aunts and uncles would always tell us from young, so-and-so died today. How? You know, as young, you can't interrupt. We just listen. They found him lynched on the tree. And many of our people grew up with these psychological problems.
Oh, what years was this?
This was back in the 60s.
Oh, man.
I was born in 66, but from that time all the way up through the 70s, I would always be there in the South, and I would hear these stories all the time. Lynchings have not stopped. They just recently found a couple of young girls lynched. Was it in Philly? Where was it? Florida. Lynched in Florida. And they said, oh, she did it to herself. Maybe she did, but I doubt it. Rasheem Carter in Mississippi. They found him with the top of his head cut off. They said, oh, an animal did it. But you could tell it looked like an electric soul went through that brother's head. We were out there for the protests and all that, but this causes psychological problems to us. People that were close to him, you think they're normal? No. They go to sleep frustrated. They wake up frustrated, thinking about their brother, their son, their cousin, dead, killed by white people. And guess what? Rasheem Carter told his mom, if anything happened to me, he named his boss, he named the company, gave their phone number. And guess what the court said? No, we're not going with what he said. But I know not growing up, in the police department, they have something called a man's dying declaration, meaning your last words are used as testimony against the culprit. With Rasheem Carter, they said, no, although he named them, no, we're not using that in court. No. Which goes back to Zechariah. Oh, I got to read this for you. Bear with me. I know y'all think I'm crazy, but I'm not crazy. I just need to show you what the Bible says about that. Because the Bible covers everything. Zechariah chapter 11, if I'm not mistaken. Y'all help me out here. Zechariah, thank you, 11 verse 5. It reads, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. Whether we want to believe it or not, the white man possesses us. He owns us. That's why in the NFL, they call the white man their owners. Basketball, they're your owners. That's still slave terminology. The Bible says, whose possessors slay them, meaning kill us, and hold themselves not guilty. This is why the people that kill Rasheem, they're not guilty. Just a little boy that got shot. Tamir Rice, Sandra Bland, who? Trayvon Martin. Not guilty, not guilty. That's Bible prophecy. No matter how you feel about the Bible, everything this book says is coming to pass. We're seeing it, but the problem is you've never been taught it.
Well, I want to jump back, right?
Yes.
Jump back and explain why the Bible speaks out against suicide.
It's because when you read the book of 2 Ezra chapter 7, it teaches, it doesn't say suicide per se. The word suicide is not in there. So let's put that out there. It does say that we must go through trials and tribulations. 2 Ezra chapter 7. It says there shall be a narrow path, as if there was water on one side and fire on the other. That if you do not walk that path, you cannot get the coming kingdom. So what some of our brothers and sisters tend to do is kill themselves. They want to off themselves because some people kill themselves, suicide, regarding sexually transmitted diseases. Many of our brothers who want to down low, sisters who want to keep it silent, when they find out they're HIV positive, they don't want to live with the shame. So they choose to kill themselves. It's a lot of reasons. There's a lot of complexities to that on why our sons and daughters opt to kill themselves. At the end of the day, they choose not to go through the trials and the tribulations that is given to all of us as the children of Israel. We must fight our way through it. No matter the shame, no matter the hardship, fight, keep fighting, never give up. Like our forefathers, they did not give up. We cannot give up.
Do you feel this generation is softer than the previous generation?
Oh yes, this generation is this is the generation that Luke 7. I gotta read it. Look what Jesus Christ said about his generation. His generation is our generation. This is for you men. Luke chapter 7. Bear with me. Let me get it. I know I'm slow, but here we go. Verse 31. And the Lord said, whereunto then shall I liken the men of this generation? And to what are they like? They are like unto children sitting in the marketplace. See what Christ said to us? The men of his generation, he said, y'all like children. You take no accountability, no responsibility. That's that same generation today. Now we throw it on a woman. Yes, she's like that too. But he specified the men. Why? Because the men are the leaders of the community. The men are the leaders of the family and the nation. He said, y'all are like children. We're big, we're strong, but we're kids on the inside. Okay, no matter what we go through, we take a child's point of view. Okay, I can give you many examples of many of our people in the NFL. I don't care how big they are. When you talk to them, they are like big kids. Like, what was the one that just was caught with, he was texting for sex from another man? I forgot his name. He's a ex-football player. I forgot his name. Anyway, when on Instagram, people are getting on him. He's like, so what? Don't worry about who I sleep with. You worry about who I put my penis inside of. Like
that's,
that.
Don't say nothing. That's Dwight Howard.
Yes,
that's
Dwight Howard. Big, strong brother. He ain't a little wimp. You could this dude's like, it goes back to the Willie Lynch letters. Raised them physically strong, but mentally weak. Our men are LeBron James, they're all mentally weak. But physically, they are strong. And they will hurt you and harm you if it comes down to it. They got the strength, but the mind is not there.
All right, for LeBron, right? People listening, they would ask, how can you say LeBron James is mentally weak? Please explain.
LeBron James stands up for nothing. All the injustices that you see in the black community, he stays silent. He says nothing. What you will see some of them do is they may spend money, they'll pay for a funeral. That's all. That's nice. They may buy turkeys on Thanksgiving. I always hear that a lot. But when it comes to the blatant evil, the blatant injustice, nobody says to the white man, what you're doing is evil. Nobody says that. And you have the platform to have a voice that can go worldwide. But because you'll lose your money, your contract, and I don't know what your contract look like. I've never seen it, but I think that in the contract, it may say they are not allowed to speak up for anything that white man is against. I'll say it like that, for lack of better words. That's my opinion. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, LeBron, prove me wrong. Speak up. We're the Israelites. We're going through injustice. Speak up on our behalf. Kyrie Irving. Okay, do that. Do something. Because you see lie after lie against black people, harm after harm come against black people. Ain't nobody say nothing that got a huge major platform. Nobody says nothing.